Hi everyone, welcome to Buying Green in the Heatons, which is part of the Heatons Climate Action Festival. I'm just waiting for you to trickle in and then we'll get started. My name is Karishma Chandaria. I am the chair for this session. Just before we get started, there's just a bit of housekeeping that we just need to do before we get started. Only our speakers and panelists will have the ability to use their microphones. If you have a question, please click on the Q&A button. You can ask questions at any point and we'll try to get them all in today or come back to you. Please participate in a short poll that's going to be part of the session. The chat is kind of for commentary and to share ideas. And after the webinar, the recording will be uploaded on YouTube and will be available for you to look at later on. So why are we doing this? Sustainable living in the Heatons has been in existence for 10 years, and there's been a large amount of frustration amongst our members about sustainability, and it seems to be a slogan without real meaning. We know that climate change is becoming more significant. David Attenborough, Greta Thunberg, and green groups are all having an impact in a different way, but we still think that change is happening too slowly. This can be really exasperating for individuals and make us wonder if there's any point in trying to make things better. However, we all recognise that change is difficult for all, yet change is very necessary. Why do we still need to do this? We can either despair at the pace of change or do our best in our personal lives as businesses and communities to influence and make change happen. This festival is to help you answer the question, what more can I do? And then to offer answers of what you can do differently as consumers and responsible citizens. We believe that small steps at a local level are really important and that we can make a difference. So I'm just going to say a little about the purpose of this session. So the purpose of this session is really about raising awareness about the benefits of buying in a sustainable way, including reducing amounts of single-use plastics and supporting local businesses when buying green. It's also to encourage you to think about the small steps you can take as individuals and within your communities to develop more sustainable shopping habits. So a little bit about our speakers. We've got 3 speakers today. Shelia Brown, who created The Good Life in Heaton Mersey as a waste-free mini market that's already had a remarkable local impact since it opened in January 2019. Simon Hay, who owns EcoMad, whose mission is to empower the customer to reduce their carbon impact on the planet through carbon neutral products. Amy Gray from Oakdale Bees. Oakdale Bees are beekeepers who are passionate about informing, engaging and inspiring customers to make eco-smart choices, which will help save our much-loved British bees. So, in terms of the session today, we're going to see a short video of Shelia talking about her shop, The Good Life in the Heatons, and how it's making an impact in the local community. Then we're going to have a bit of an online discussion with Shelia and Simon and Amy, whose businesses supply The Good Life in the Heatons. Then we're going to have a Q&A with the audience. So start thinking about your questions that you want to pose and start sending them in now. Before we get started, and just to check on how sustainable you think you are, we're going to find out a little about what you're already doing to reduce your packaging waste. Let us know if you regularly go to the shop to refill your bathroom containers, refill your cleaning containers, refill your detergent containers, or fill your own containers with dry food. You just see the poll appearing now. So if you could just take a minute to vote, and then we'll see how sustainable you really are. Right, we're just waiting for...
Nearly there, just a few more people left to go.
Okie dokie. So you can see that should be visible to everyone, shouldn't it? You can see the results there. So it looks like quite a lot of you are, doing things already to help reduce plastic waste and be more sustainable. The top thing that people are doing is actually they're refilling their own containers with dry food, pulses, pasta and nuts, which are all available at The Good Life. So that's just a little insight into our habits. Now, we're going to start off with the video, which is featuring Shelia, who runs The Good Life. So happy watching.
The Good Life opened in January 2019. It's on Didsbury Road in Heaton, Mersey, Stockport. My inspiration for The Good Life was sort of born out of frustration, really, with the supermarkets and how small businesses were getting put out of business. And really, I just found supermarket shopping increasingly soulless. And also just the issue with the environment, with packaging, with plastic, and I knew I was in the right area for people to respond.
We started coming quite soon after it opened because we'd been wanting to reduce plastic use, so we couldn't wait for it to open because I was looking at going to other places that were further away, but having it on the doorstep's been great.
So I live locally and I actually came in the first week it opened, and it was so different then. Like, there was probably like a quarter of the product. I do all sorts. I do a lot of art, so as you can see on the board behind me, I've done a few of these. I've done the window at the front, and I've recently designed some cards for Shelia to sell in the shop. And then on my shifts I'm like restocking, helping customers get what they want.
I think what's most important are our customers, really. We've really built our stock around what people have asked for, so everything from the vegetarian sweet shop. For the kids, it's quite hard to find gelatine-free sweets these days that aren't wrapped in plastic. We stock items that people who are practicing paleo or keto. We try and get wine with no sulfites, for instance. We've really tried to include as many people as we can, and that's been key to making the business work financially.
My role is I'm assistant manager at The Good Life. We are very people focused when it comes to service. We respond to a lot of customer requests and needs, and I think that is the forefront of what we do on a daily basis, which sets us apart.
And we really do try and bend over backwards for people. You know, we will carry baskets of food round to neighbours that can't necessarily get out, and even if it's just a bag of porridge oats, we'll do it. We'll do whatever we can, you know, to make the service that we offer very different and much better that you can get elsewhere.
I feel like it's got a really good community vibe, and all the regulars that come in, we know them quite well, and the staff are super friendly. We all get on really well as a team, and it just makes it a really nice place to work and visit as a customer.
There's definitely not a typical customer, I wouldn't say. Children love it at The Good Life. They enjoy the experience, and I think that they're becoming a lot more aware of the environmental impact of food and food waste. We get a lot of older customers, especially ones that live on their own, that perhaps only want to buy a small amount of things. And also the refills is now the biggest part of our business, and anyone can do that. It's a really easy change for people. So we've got, you know, students, professionals, retired people, all walks of life.
My own route into sustainable living was very much through living more mindfully and being more aware of the environment and my place in that. And yeah, there's a real sense from Shelia of that ethos of what can we all do, what choices can we all make. And also what I love about here is I don't feel it's like you've got to get it right or do it perfectly. Really worked for me in terms of not feeling like I had to do everything in one go.
Hi, my name is Edwina and I'm a local Heaton Mercy resident. I'm a home baker, so flour, sugar, baking powder, coconut. I like to use the nuts. I toast almonds, all sorts basically.
I think that coronavirus it's been positive for us in that a lot of people have looked to shop locally, and I think that we really tried to make the best of a bad situation in terms of working very hard to get in hard to find products like flour. I was, researching new suppliers, doing everything I could to get in products that had been sold out in the supermarkets, delivering on our tricycle to customers in the neighbourhood.
Me and Bob are very acquainted. When COVID started, we got Barbara to enable us to start doing deliveries within the Heatons.
In terms of competing with supermarkets, there are some products we don't stock because we can't compete price-wise, and really every product we get, we check what the supermarkets sell it at, and we do everything we can to come in line with that and are often cheaper on a lot of items, especially when it comes to refilling spice jars and things like that. But I think there's a real lack of trust there. I think that you could put gravity dispensers in a supermarket, but there's still a lot of what you don't see a lot of what goes on. We're really transparent with what we do, whereas you don't know whether what they're putting in their gravity dispensers comes wrapped in plastic, for instance. So it's about, we're very transparent with our suppliers. The way we present things is looking at where we get our products from as well.
The business aims to be waste-free. For me, obviously with a young child, they're learning a lot about being waste-free, about plastics in the ocean, plastics in certain food products we buy these days. So it's important for me to try and be a better role model and for him to practice waste-free as well.
My dream would be to have another one, at least one more. I think it's been so rewarding and the response has been so fantastic. I get a lot of customers come in saying, please open one where we live. Yeah, I think in terms of the plastic free, maybe like the biggest aspect of our, if you want to, the biggest aspect of our business is refills. That's the one change that's so easy for people to make, and there's some customers that only do that. We've decided, like this far in, we've just calculated by having a chat with Suma this morning that we are refilling 1,000 bottles every month. The main problem with plastic is always in our kitchens and bathrooms, really. So if you can just make that change, then it will make a dramatic difference.
I think we need to look towards the future. We need to reduce plastic so as to help future generations be more sustainable. We need to be looking towards the future, and this is the way that the future should look.
We come here to buy all our staples, really. Dried goods was what we first started coming for because I couldn't find where else I could buy things like pasta and rice without them being wrapped in plastic. So we started off coming only for that. But now, because Shelley's got such a great range here, we find that our weekly shop here has increased in size in terms of the range of products that we buy here. So also really rely on here for is beauty products, so creams, face cream, soaps, things like that. There's a really good range which I wasn't expecting to find, but that saved me having to order things online.
Yeah, in terms of price point, we've got a real mix of organic and non-organic because we don't want, I think that I've been into a lot of shops like this since I've opened The Good Life, and a lot of them just don't have as friendly a feel, perhaps. And a lot of people start off small, and then it does just slowly change your mindset.
So I come here always with my son. My son's 10, and it's a weekly thing for us. We come together, and that's the extra benefit for us has been doing it as a family. I think I've really noticed that when we used to buy things that were all wrapped in plastic, you're a little bit more disconnected from your food, but coming together and doing it, I think all of our relationships with food have changed for the better because of that way of shopping.
I do find that things that haven't been, when you buy them in bulk and they haven't been wrapped in plastic and stuck in a warehouse, everything does start to taste better and people start to notice the real benefit.
Yeah, I think it's definitely changed the way I eat and the way I see food. I definitely pay more attention to the packaging when I'm in a supermarket and I see like something that we sell here that we can avoid the packaging for. It's just unnecessary. I think because a lot of the things we sell here are very like raw and whole with no like added chemicals and stuff, so it's made me more aware of things like that in mainstream products.
We're open 7 days a week, you can buy things as you need them, and I very much encourage people to bring recipes in and say to them, we'll weigh it out for you, so there's no wastage there. And I think that actually you do save money if you shop like this, and you're getting much better products as well.
Well, The Good Life is different to other stores because, well, number one for me personally, it's convenient. I can come in, everything Shelia has in the shop, I can buy the amount that I want, so I buy just what I need basically. Again, you know, it's the pure convenience for me. If I need flour, I only come in to The Good Life to buy the amount that I need. She has fruit and veg. Again, I can only buy what I need, so there's no waste.
I think that now there's a lot more, you know, there's companies like TerraCycle which do brilliant things, but actually it's kind of started to make people feel that it's okay to buy things if there's somewhere they can then recycle it. You know, we really need to not think about recycling, you need to think about not creating the waste in the first place. And actually, you know, if you just take one product every week, it's possible to probably eliminate, I'd say 80% of your household waste with actually it not really being very difficult at all. Just bake a batch of cookies or flapjacks once a week and that's all of a sudden you've eliminated all those snacks wrapped in plastic. People just want an easy way out. Unfortunately, it's not that easy. People need to shop more consciously and think about the longevity of products. So please come down to The Good Life. You can visit us online as well, thegoodlifeheatons.com. But even if you just want to come down and have a chat and want a bit of help and advice, then we've got a really friendly, knowledgeable team here to assist you.
Great. I think you'll all agree that was a really, really great insight into Shelley's business in Good Life and the Heatons. And you know, it was really nice to hear from customers as well. I thought that it's a very positive vibe that Good Life and the Heatons has created. So now we're going to have a bit of a chat with Simon from EcoMad and Amy from Oakdale Bees, both of whom supply Good Life in the Heatons. We're going to begin with Simon, who owns EcoMad. So I've got a few questions for you, Simon, which we'll go through, which hopefully will give people an insight into your business. So can you tell us a bit about your business and how you got started?
Yeah, of course. So I saw a lot of companies out there that were kind of using the word sustainable willy-nilly without actually kind of backing it up. I mean, there may have been plastic free, but there was also a carbon cost to each product, but that was kind of ignored. So coming from a science background, I kind of wanted to give an all-encompassing picture of a product. So like 2 questions: how is it sustainable and where is the proof? So EcoMad aims to provide sustainable products, while also giving the customer the whole picture of the products that they're buying. So I worked with Liverpool John Moores. We worked out a carbon life cycle of all the products we provide. So CO2 carbon produced when the product's manufactured to when it's in the customer's hands. As a business, we do offset all our carbon. So in August, we offset 15 tonnes of carbon using verified carbon standard projects. I know offsetting to some people is a bit of a dirty word. So as well as that, with our products, we also give what do we do? We use our products, we give in simple terms, if you use the product X times, then it's carbon neutral. So, and importantly as well, we're trying to be well priced in the market, and 10% of all our profits go to environmental causes at the end of every year. So an example is our metal bottle. Liverpool John Moore's worked out that in order to produce a bottle, it produces 3.2 kilograms of carbon. So if you use it 30 times instead of using single-use coffee cups, it's carbon neutral. Or if you use it 70 times when compared to single-use plastic bottles, it's carbon neutral as well. And not just that, but every time you use the metal bottle, because it keeps your drinks hot in a coffee shop, you save about 25p every use. So after 30 times when it's carbon neutral, that's £7.50, and that's half the price of the bottle. And with all our bottles, we give a 2-year guarantee. So if you use it twice a week over the 2 years, you're saving 60 kilograms of carbon when you take off the cost of the bottle, and you're also saving about £52, which more than covers the cost of the bottle. So you can buy it and 3 more from us if you want to. We've also got our wheat straws, and this is actually mental. So our wheat straws produce only 0.03% of carbon when compared to plastic straws. So you can use about 300 of our wheat straws, and that's the same carbon footprint as 1 plastic straw. And also, you're not using plastic. And finally, our bamboo toothbrushes. So you can use 4 of our bamboo toothbrushes, which is the same as about a year, because you're supposed to replace them every 3 months. And that's the same as 1 plastic toothbrush. And that's everything for my about EconMad, hopefully.
So that's so just for people knowledge. So what the range? You plastic bottles, brushes. What else do you produce? Have you got any examples there?
Yeah, of course. So we've got our metal bottle here. It's backwards because so it's all paper packaging, and it's got a paper tissue paper in there to make sure it doesn't get scratched, and it's all shiny and beautiful. And it's thermal as well, so it obviously keeps the drinks hot. So we've got our wheat straws as well, and these are all in cardboard packaging as well. So they're quite thin, and you can reuse these as well if you want to, because they don't go soggy in water. And our bamboo toothbrushes. So this is also in paper packaging, and each of our bamboo toothbrushes is sealed in like a paper bag, so that you know that they're all clean when you use them.
Right. What motivated you to start the business?
Yeah, well, it was, like I said before, it was mainly that I saw a lot of people using, they were either picking because it was plastic free, but they weren't really thinking about the carbon. And I think, especially with global warming, it's kind of like, it's a big issue really. So you can't really think of the plastic impact. You've got to think of the carbon impact of each product as well, because there's no point having like a product which saves all the plastic, but if it produces more carbon, then that's not really any beneficial for anybody.
And in terms of have you seen an uptick in terms of your business since the coronavirus? Have the particular things that have come out of it that have been positives?
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of people will be at home now, so they'll be using the wheat straws. Obviously they only can have a gathering of 6 people, but you can more of those, and people going on for walks and stuff. So the metal bottles, we're definitely selling a lot of those, because people have, they want a cold drink when they climb Ben Nevis or something, or even a coffee, because it keeps it really hot. So you can start at the bottom, get to the top, and you'll still have a piping hot coffee, which is crazy, really.
Fab. Well, that's really really great to hear about what you're doing, and it's obviously making a big impact.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, 10% of all our profits go to environmental causes, so it's not as if, so we're trying to just do a lot more than a lot of people are trying to do, I think. Trying to do everything, really. Yeah.
Oh, great. Well, hopefully there'll be some interesting questions for you in the panel discussion. So now we're going to talk to Amy from Oakdale Bees.
Hello.
Hi, Amy. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good. So do you want to tell us a bit about Oakdale Bees and the products that you use?
Yeah, sure. So Oakdale Bees is an apiary. We have around 15 beehives, It's actually set in Windsor, just on the edge of Windsor Forest. And it's owned and started by Elizabeth, who is sadly away today, so you're stuck with me. But it's just Elizabeth and I that work with the bees, and a few bee buddies as well, Ken and Clive. And then we've got a couple of other people who do various things, but we're quite a small team, and we're very much all about the bees, which is what inspired us to create our original product, the beeswax wraps, which are designed to replace the single-use plastic cling film. Also, you can turn them into straws, you can use them as piping bags, you can cover your leftovers. They're really, really a versatile product. Obviously, we harvest honey as well, so we do sell some honey. We make candles, beeswax candles. We also have recently designed some new products, some eco-friendly gifts, which are sort of things to help inspire small humans and big humans around the subject of bees, and I'd give them a bit of education on things like sustainable gardening and working with nature, and just raising awareness for the bees, really, because sadly their populations are hugely in decline, which is a huge problem for the ecosystem and us as humans.
So what motivated you to kind of join Oakdale Bees, and what's the thing that you really sort of drives you?
Well, Elizabeth and I are really similar people, actually. And I think the way the business started, well, I know the way the business started was Elizabeth's interest in bees, and understanding the impact on how we treat the planet, and therefore what is happening to bee populations, things like fertilizers and all sorts of things. That really inspired Elizabeth to look into, okay, what is happening to the planet? And for both of us, we were speaking about the other day, it's such an overwhelming task and an overwhelming thing that we really needed somewhere to start. And so obviously then the bees and the beeswax, it was there and it was ready, and it was a product that we knew that we could use. So that was really the inspiration. It was trying to make a small change, because honestly, it's just snowballed from there. Once you bring your awareness to the fact that you're using these things and you're throwing them away and you don't know where they're going and you don't realize how much it's damaging the planet, then we realize, okay, well, then we can do something else, and we can do something else. And it, for us, it's all just about being mindful and aware and making the small changes that are going to have a big impact in the long run.
And have you, also since coronavirus, has that had an impact on the business? Have you seen an uptake of your products being bought since that? Or?
Well, it was difficult because a lot of shops closed for a long time. Obviously, the beeswax wraps is our main product, but it was again where we had a chance. It was really positive for us also, like Shelia was saying in that video, because we had a chance to sit down and say, okay, what else can we do? And that's when we came up with the bee-friendly boxes, and the kids version, which is the Bee Detective, because it was not really that long after Christmas, and over Christmas you get so many gifts that are just like full of plastic, or they're just rubbish things that they go to waste. So we thought we would design something that was fun, informative, and for us, the bees are so inspiring. There's so much to learn, and once you start learning about what they contribute to humanity, then it makes you think, and it makes you, for us anyway, it makes us want to know more. So we just really wanted to pay that forward and find a way to share it with people.
Well, that's great. It was really nice to hear kind of that you're so passionate about us, and both you and Elizabeth are so passionate, and you're so involved in the sort of day-to-day running of the business. I know it's probably hard work, but it's great to hear that. Okay, so now we're going to move on to a bit of a panel discussion, and we're going to take some questions from the audience, I think. So get your questions in. You can put them in the Q&A box. So, okay, I'll give you a couple of minutes to get your questions in.
I think there's one there for Simon about
Is
his
there
wheat straws.
Oh, yes.
Would you like me to manage the questions, Karishma?
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
All right, so I'll just introduce myself. I'm Diana Scotcher and I'm the Secretary of Sustainable Living in the Heatons, and who have organised these events. So glad you've all joined us today. So we've had lots of questions, but just for you people who are attending out there, just where I want you to go and go in the chat box at the moment. We've had some inspiring ideas from Shelia at The Good Life, but there's other places around the Heatons that are also doing their bit in similar ways to do towards climate change and sustainable shopping. So could you put your suggestions in the chat box, and we'll come to them again at the end. Now I've got a couple of questions coming for Shelley, first of all. So first of all, Shelley, take your mute button off. And just to say to you, Shelley, we've heard a bit about Barbara.
Yes.
The bike. So we talked in the last session, we asked Steve Pilling if he would be happy to have a cargo bike for deliveries of some of his foodstuffs around the Heatons, some of his meals. And he said, yeah, I'll try that. Now, what advice would you give to Steve or any other people, any other businesses thinking about having a bike? What advice would you give to them?
Well, the bike was quite, it was quite a rash purchase in a way. We just thought, right, what can we do to deliver it in an environmental way? It's not always the quickest, but actually the staff love it, get a bit of fresh air, blow the cobwebs away, and the customers love receiving their products in as an environmental way as you can, with no carbon footprint there. I think that perhaps for someone that's delivering hot meals, they might want to look at an electric bike, there's electric versions of the trike that we've got. I just couldn't afford one of those, and I thought we could do with the pedal power. But we get all our customers see us, wave at us. Again, all these things are quite infectious, that it makes people think about cycling more. You know, it's very much a knock-on effect of people really changing their mindset. For instance, we did a litter pick yesterday, and so many people walk past going, good for you, and it will probably make them think, next time I go out on a walk, I will pick up litter. So I'm hoping it not only encourages people to shop from us, but also encourages them to get on their bikes as well.
Thank you, Shelley. So that question had come from Sarah, and she is one of the Walk Ride Heatons teams. So from one of the Walk Ride Heatons teams, and I know that team would be very happy to support any other businesses that wanted to get a electric bike or an unelectric cargo bike to deliver their products, because that would be very good for the environment, wouldn't it? I
did have a customer come in the other day that told me she's setting up a local business selling electric like scooters, like Vespa type scooters, which I'd not heard of. So I think there's lots of new and exciting products coming on the market.
Lovely, good, thank you. I've got another question for you, Shelley, that came in at the beginning about your fruit and veg. So I think you've said a little bit about that, but can you say a little bit about the fruit and veg that you get?
So we get our fruit and veg from Organic North. They're based in Smithfield Market. They don't supply anything that's air freighted, even if it's come from South America or the Caribbean. Everything comes by boat. We do encourage our customers to eat seasonally, so probably about 80% of what we get in on a weekly basis is British, because we want to support our farmers and our economy, but also showcase the fruit and veg that we grow in this country. So we get that in every Thursday. It's not on a very big scale. We're only a small shop, but you know, if people ask for specific things, like this week we've got in fresh turmeric roots, then we will get that for them. And we do weekly veg boxes And it's the same customers week in, week out that get those, and they kind of like the surprise of what's coming into season. It's, I'd say, 95% plastic free. Occasional things that are very perishable come in plastic, but I've seen more and more of their suppliers sending that to us in compostable packaging, which is brilliant. So we do everything we can to weigh up, you know, getting what people want and doing it in the most sustainable way possible. But it's great. We get the list every week. There's new products come out every week, and we have a really good relationship with Organic North, who I know are supplying Bernie's, which have recently opened in Heaton Moor. Another great initiative there. It's good to see this sort of shopping spreading.
Indeed, indeed. Thank you very much. So we've had a question for Simon.
Mute me.
The
Sorry,
question, Simon, is there's a fascination with your wheat straws. I don't know that we'd heard about them in the Heatons particularly before, but perhaps that's one of the things that you do sell at the Good Life. Tell us a little bit about, and do they not fall to pieces? That was really the question.
Yeah, no, they don't at all. So it's like the stem of the wheat. So it's oh, I can see my hole. So it's like hydrophobic, so it doesn't absorb water or anything. And yeah, you can use them with hot drinks. I've used them with like coffee, and they keep the shape and the sound. And you can just rinse them under the tap as well. So kind of with water to, you know, clean them if you really wanted to use them again.
Fab. Oh, that's great. Good. Okay. And Simon, another question that came in from one of our members. So you sounded like you've been very passionate about your business, and that's why you set it up. So do you do other things out of your business? Are you an eco warrior on the quiet?
Oh gosh. Well, I think giving people an opportunity to buy products which are carefully thought about, both from like shipping from suppliers, you know, the carbon footprint of the product, giving people a simple kind of way of how they can actually make the product carbon neutral. So like I say, in 30 times replacing a hot reusable coffee cup, then it's carbon neutral, the product. Giving 10% of our profits to charity and offsetting our carbon for our products. I think that's about as eco warrior as you can get, really, I think. I mean, I appreciate a lot of people, well, maybe don't have the opportunity to run a business and try and help from that perspective. So, you know, pushing, lobbying, protesting is a good idea as well.
Right. Thank you.
So using any tools you've got to try and create change is the best thing that anybody can do, really.
Good on you. So that's right by the ethos and the thinking behind our festival.
Think about everything, really.
Yeah. Thank you. So this is a question that's come up as well that I'd like to ask you, Simon. One of our people said, can you contact MPs and push for the carbon count on all purchases?
Yeah, I mean, this would be a great idea. So then, you know, putting a figure for carbon's all good, but if nobody's really got any comparison, you know, that's why I try and put what this compares to if we were using single-use products. So I think that'd be a good one as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, as we grow bigger as a company, then hopefully we've got a bit of you know, power behind us, and then, you know, there's something that that would be definitely something to look forward to in the future, to try and lobby government to try and add, you know, you do get your red and your orange and your green on there for calories, and if you could as well add, you know, a red and orange and green for the carbon footprint of a product, and that would be amazing.
Well, perhaps that's something that we can put on the things for the future for sustainable living in the Heatons as a legacy from the festival.
Yeah. No, that'd be amazing.
I have to remember that.
Yes.
Okay, so we've got some other questions now have come in about bees, and there's nobody better to answer those questions than Amy. But so can I ask some questions of Amy? So first of all, just while we're transferring, one question that's come in from Maggie says, are there any beehives in the Heatons? And because Amy isn't local, she probably won't be able to answer that. So I'll answer from what I know from Sustainable Living in the Heatons, which is there are, and we have had some interest in getting even more beehives. And indeed, one of our members, in fact, our chair, Paul, is very interested in getting an SLH beehive. And we're hoping that that will get get going at some point. So that also could be another legacy. But Amy, one of the questions that Maggie asks is, what are the top plants to encourage bees in my garden?
So, well, actually, we with all of our boxes and a lot of our products, we include wildflower seeds, British wildflower seeds. So they are great. Bees love wildflowers. And sunflowers as well. We had a really amazing sunflower patch this summer and the bees were going crazy for it. Lavender, I would say they love lavender. But yeah, top 3, any wildflowers, lavender, sunflowers.
Okay, thank you. That's very clear and very straightforward, easy to get hold of, aren't they?
Actually, when you go and buy plants, they usually will have a it's like a circle with a bee in it, and it's RHS, which will tell you which plants are bee friendly and they encourage pollinators.
Okay. So at this point, just because we're talking about bees, I'd just like to tell our attendees about Simon and Amy's websites, because Amy at oakdalebees.co.uk has bees walking across it in a rather appealing way. And Simon also has a very good website at ecomad.co.uk. You see why I asked whether he was an eco warrior. With a name like Ecomad, what would he not be? But back to you, Amy. We have another question, which was about your bees, your wraps that can be used instead of cling film. Somebody was asking whether they are available at the Good Life, and I think they are, and we'll come back to Shelia about that in a minute. But first of all, could you just tell those of you, for those attendees who haven't heard about them before, how they work and what they're good for, and a little bit more about them, please?
Sure. So the beeswax wraps it's an infusion of cotton with beeswax, oil and resin, jojoba oil and resin. We spent a while perfecting our own mix so that we get the perfect stickiness, and we just infuse it with the cotton, and you can literally use it the same as cling film. It's naturally antibacterial. They can last for up to a year. We've had customers contact us saying that actually they've had this for more than a year, so we've started to do little refresher kits as well now. And even, to be honest, if you get to the point where you don't want to use it anymore, you can cut it up and use it as fire lighters. They're great for starting bonfires and barbecues, so completely sustainable. Compostable also.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so we have another question here that's come in from Robert, and I think this might be best taken by Shelley. Is there any sort of network between similar ethical organic traders in the area, and would that help to put more pressure amongst all Heatons traders and wider to play a part? Shelley, what do you think about that?
I've built up a personal network. It's not quite just local to the Heatons, but I think that we sort of connected through the Manchester Museum, actually. I have a WhatsApp group with the shop in Altrincham, the one in Ramsbottom, and I've been chatting a lot to the guys from Lentils and Lather, Lucy, who's open one in Urmston, the dispensary in Salford. So I wouldn't say that it's just Heatons, because these sort of shops are cropping up everywhere, but they don't tend to be quite, that close. But certainly we've made an effort amongst ourselves to connect and to share ideas and really just to support each other. So I think in terms of, I go and see the guys at Black's. I know they're doing good things. Obviously, Perry at Blue Corn has been there for a long time and is doing great things. And the lovely ladies at Blue Door Flowers. So we do have personal connections, but it's maybe not something that is knowledgeable to people that aren't within this sort of circle. But there are loads of websites like Green Manchester Map that will tell you how to shop sustainably. So it's all coming about does that answer the question?
I think that was a good answer. So I would just like to go back to something that I've seen in the chat, where Shelia, who was interviewed in your shop, says she agrees with you. There's Bernie's for cheese and bread. Now, she brings in another point. She says, what about going to creamline dairies for your milk and so that means you have a milkman, which is becoming terribly fashionable now, isn't it? Getting your milk in a glass bottle. She says, go to Martin's for bread, Unwin's the greengrocers, because you can go there and buy, just put the vegetables straight into your basket. As you said, she says, Blags for refills. And she says, I've done a list so we can circulate, put on SLH social media, and we can put it on the website as well. So I think that's something that's really useful that will come out of this session. And then she says, oh, and Easy Fish Company and Littlewoods would refill the tubs. We've got
I'm on a live Zoom chat, and this is probably my favourite customer. Say hi, Elsie. Hi. This is about people who come and do their green shopping in the Heatons.
Free organic.
Thank you.
You're going to go get some ice cream?
I got ice lolly.
You got an ice lolly. Excellent. There we go, sweetheart.
Do you have any ice?
Oh, we have ice. We have dairy-free ice cream.
So just...
He's going to run the country one day, that Elsie.
So Sheila's carried on and said perhaps we should have a green map of shopping in the Heatons. So that's a very nice idea, isn't it? Okay, so I think we've answered all the questions now. Thank you very much indeed for everybody who's joined in there. And I'm going to hand back now to Karishma.
Oops, sorry, I'm just unmuting myself. Thanks for that, Diana. There's some really interesting questions that were being posed, and some really great ideas being shared, and also suppliers of where to go and get your sustainable, locally sourced products. So thank you for that. We're just going to go on to talk about a little bit about, what you can do going forward. I think part of the whole ethos of this festival is to acknowledge that, what we hope we'll take away from this is that there is a transition taking place. You personally can help drive that transition by what you do as a consumer and through your voice as a citizen. We've obviously shared some ideas for you to follow up and use to make a difference, however small. And as Shelia was saying, you can make that very simple changes, even if it is just doing refills or thinking more about where things you buy are from and how they're sourced. And I think, again, just thinking about what Shelia said about infection. So not obviously the coronavirus, but the ideas are infectious. So once you see somebody doing something else, it makes you feel good. And I think all the things that we've talked about that you can do to buy green and buy more sustainably are really, really inspirational and really nice things to do to make us feel positive and hopeful in what is quite challenging times at the moment, and also make you feel more connected to your local community. And I think that's what Shelia Shop has done, and then all the other businesses in the Heatons, where we've all been going to get our bits and bobs and trying to avoid the supermarket. So I think it's really taken hold over these last few months. I think really the things you can do are to talk to others, share ideas, join in and get involved. So after this, we have got a couple more sessions of the conference, in particular the last session, which will be with going back to the Youth Commission that spoke at the beginning of this conference last weekend. There's a really powerful poem at the end of that session, which I think it's really worth listening to. It really sums up the ethos of this festival and everyone who's been involved. So yeah, if you can stick around and join in for the last session. As you'll see from this slide, all of this will be available online for you to go back and revisit. So if you weren't able to join any of the sessions previously, you can go on and have a listen. There's lots of information on the Sustainable Living in the Heatons website, which is slh.org.uk. And I think if you can do 2 or 3 things, just takeaways from this session, and that's a starting point. So yeah, thank you all for participating. Oh yeah, there's a link for the last session in the chat, I think, which you'll be able to see. So you can go to that and you'll be able to join in. So thank you everyone for thank you to our panelists, Amy, Shelley and Simon, for answering questions and for just generally taking part. And thank you to everyone who asked a question and for sharing your ideas. So I hope you've come away inspired and empowered. Thanks. Bye everyone.